What were you doing in 1976? What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video, another part of this fantastic series. So it has been a week since we last seen the RV, the big brown junky RV, and we just had to leave it. We were sort of in dire straits there a little bit. I was stressing, wondering how to get the vehicle home, because as I mentioned in the last video, it's difficult to find a trailer that can haul a 3500 dual wheel rear axle. You need an extra wide trailer. So we finally found a transport company that sort of fit the bill, that was coming at the right time. So like I said, it has been 7 days now since we left it, and the truck is arriving. They're only bringing it about 50 minutes, an hour's drive or so from home. So Dad and I are headed to get it right now. It's a rainy, nasty night. Could be an adventure all on its own tonight. Don't mind it.
No, I got a full load going back though. Oh, okay. I got a tractor next to me.
Don't get too excited yet.
Yeah.
There it is, guys. You can see the weather. Matt came to the rescue here with a late transport and got it over. Like I said, we're about 45 minutes from home here now. We're hoping we can get there. The old 350 is not doing well. We were thinking we were going to have to push it off the truck by hand. Bucking, stalling, this old 350 small block carbureted needs some work, that's for sure. What were you doing in 1976? Now, for a big portion of you, 30-35% according to YouTube, you were alive then and you have a story to tell. Maybe you were 2 years old and all you can tell is that you fell off the back porch and broke your arm. Maybe you'll know a little more than that. I'd love you to comment down below. Now, for you guys that are my age, the other 30% or so, you weren't born yet. 1976, GMC was building this fine piece of work right here, the Vandura. Now the older guys watching will know that the Vandura was simply a van. It was GMC's van chassis, van body at the time, but GMC did a lot with the Vandura. They made the Vandura in several different body lengths and several different motor options, transmission options, cab options, to make it very versatile. It's kind of like the Ford Super Duty today. They're sold for ambulances, they're sold for box trucks. Now this particular rendition is very interesting. This is the Vandura RV conversion, or the RV special. Now let me show you what that means. It does have the 350 V8, one of the most iconic engines of all time. It also means it has the heavy-duty front and rear shock setup. It means it has the 4.1 rear axle ratio, and check that out, dual rear wheels. Now what it means in a real life application, to those who those numbers or anything doesn't mean anything to, it means it was made to have a lot of weight on its back, so its suspension is built heavy duty, spring is heavy duty, it's sitting on 4 back tires, so it can take a lot of weight over the rear, and it was built with a low gearing, the 4.1 rear axle. That just means it's going to be geared a little lower, not quite as fast, a little stronger. Having that 350 V8 means it was meant to be simple and reliable, long-lasting. You ready to see our new family RV? Here we go! Do you see it?
Just like we always dream.
It's that big shed right there.
So, it's the longest isn't made.
What do you think?
It's nice.
It's nice?
Yeah.
Thank you. You're the first person to say that to me. There you go, Mama. Your new home.
There's a toilet in it.
Oh, we got all the stuff.
I see the toilet.
Step
Can
on
I
it.
step on it?
Sure.
Okay. Woo. Oh, that's right there.
Yeah, see, we got a bathroom over right there. The sink is up near the front. Now, the last time this rig was licensed for the road was 2013, I can see on the registration here. Nearly 10 years ago. It's been sitting a while. The drivetrain has been sitting and it filled itself, I'm thinking, full of gunk on the way out. It ran perfectly when we left in there, and as always ran perfectly. As you can see, it has been gutted. Now, although, and I'm sure some of you are going to be disappointed by this, although it would be cool to restore this thing inside and make it into a camper, that is not my plan. You guys know I do quite a few projects. I'm always at something, I'm always working at something. Sometimes that demands a vehicle or equipment or real power. Just last year I drove over in my last Ford pickup truck, an F-150, to get some cement powder, bags of cement powder. Now I didn't realize until we started throwing it on, 30 bags, I didn't realize how much weight was in 30 bags. Sitting there on a pallet, it wasn't that much volume or size wise, but as that forklift lowered, the truck just kept going and going until it sat on its bump stops. And that is when I really realized how incapable a half-ton truck like that is. It's really not built to handle a lot of payload. And I know all the Ford guys, or the Ford haters, will come in with the jokes here now, but they're all roughly the same in payload. On top of work, I have a Ranger Crew, a 1,500 pound off-road vehicle that I need to haul around. And maybe to you the answer is simple. You got a new F-150 there. Why don't you, or why didn't you instead go and buy an F-250 or an F-350, something with a big payload so you could haul your gear around. Those things cost serious money. Even to find old early 2000s used F-250 with something with decent mileage, it's going to cost you a lot of money. I mean, serious money. You're picking them up $18,000 and $20,000 with 300,000 clicks, 400,000 clicks on them. I just can't do that. I don't have the money to do that. Maybe one day we'll be able to do that, but it's not in the cards right now. So how do we get a heavy-duty, heavy payload capable vehicle to do the work that I need to do for very little money? Well, here it is right here. The poor man's Super Duty. Now, we obviously have a substantial project here. We have a motor that was running great, but probably needs an overhaul to get it running well again. We have a full house here to scrap that's not going to be working for us. We have an inspection to get done. We have a deck to build, a cab to close in. There's a lot of work. Now, I figure the first step is to get this thing back running well, and that's what I'm here to start picking at today. Dad is not here. We don't have his source of knowledge here to add to the mix. Between the two of us, it helps out. But we're going to start muddling through this. If we have it running well, we can get it over for inspection. Everything will run much better, much more smoothly after that. First things first, though, like I said, is to get that motor running well. Now, these old vans, because the nose is so short, the engine is not really in the front, in the engine compartment. It's under something called a doghouse. It sits here in the cabin. As you saw, you old guys don't remember anyways, but some of you young guys, if you watched the first video in the series, you will have seen us with this off there on the side of the highway. Here it is in all its splendor. The Chevy 350 SBC, or small block carbureted. What a beauty. Right here is where we lost the exhaust gasket. Just had the first little sign of trouble there, guys. Not really trouble, but I was driving and the vehicle just got a bunch louder fairly quick, so I'm thinking I burned out an exhaust donut or something like that. It got a lot louder. Coming out there, that was the first issue. We blew this seam apart here, lost our gasket, so it is really loud right now. So here's what I strongly believe happened. This vehicle hasn't been registered since 2013, so it's barely been used since that time. It hasn't been road legal. In that situation, it's been parked for some 8, 9 years. Now, when we pulled up there, it had an empty gas tank. The guy fired it up. It ran for all of 8 seconds and sputtered out. We had to go get gas in a jerry can. We put the jerry can of gas in it, fired up, ran perfectly, headed to the gas station, put a bunch of gas in it, I believe 80, 90 liters of gas, a bottle of seafoam, and headed up the highway. It ran beautifully. That tank that sits empty is able, it's a metal tank, it's able to rust inside. So what happens when you fill up that tank? You swoosh up all that rust, you're running your engine, it's just drawing it in. I'm thinking all the fuel filters on this thing, the carburetor, everything is just jam-packed full of grit. Rust, grime, anything that was in that old tank, sitting in those lines all those years, I'm thinking the fuel system is full of it. I think that's what's going on. It'll idle all day right now. As soon as you start to give it a little bit of gas, it wants to die because it's starving for fuel. Here's a nasty air filter. Let me start before the old guys start poking fun and causing a whole bunch of havoc in the comment section. I am no master mechanic. I do understand engine basics, and this is a basic engine, the same as like we dealt with basically with our DR650 project. What you have here is an engine block and heads, pistons. It all runs basically the same in this type of engine. Everything's simple. You have a distributor here which distributes spark to the spark plugs through each of these wires. So this controls the firing of your spark plugs and helps drive your pistons. You have a carburetor right here that sucks in air and gas, mixes them, throws it inside your engine, and your engine runs. If this carburetor is not running properly, your engine doesn't get the fuel and air that it needs, and we run into problems. Now here is what this carburetor looks like. As you can see, it is nasty, nasty, nasty. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you staying to the end like this. If it's your first time here, you're going to want to go ahead and hit that subscribe button because we have so much exciting work to do with this project, and you're going to want to be around for that. Before you leave, make sure you hit that like button and leave me a comment down below, both telling me what you'd like to see done with this project and telling me how you liked it. I always read the comments and I love hearing from you. Make sure you come back for the next one as we dive headfirst into some really exciting work.